reason why India can be a manufacturing hub. Now I come to the last panelist, Mr. Jitendra Patil. He represents Bharat Forge, and let me tell you, the Bharat Forge is the the biggest forging unit of the world, and they are #1 in world. They have also started defense manufacturing, and they are going to be #1, no doubt about it. And they on their own have already made India a manufacturing hub. So let's listen to their thoughts to Jitendra Patil, and request Jitendra Patil to present his views and tell us why India could be a global manufacturing hub.
Thank you, sir, for great appreciation. Good afternoon. Before I start saying something, sir, how much time do I have? How much time do I have?
10 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Basically, just to start with, you have heard the term energy. Basically, statistical shows that Earth getting energy from the sun in 2 minutes is equivalent to the all energy expenditure by humanity in the world for 1 year. So you can expect what kind of energy is there. I am very thankful that our session is before lunch. So thank you for that. And I know like after tea refreshment, the energy is going down. So please bear with me. I think I'm still saying the last benchers. Can you hear my voice? Thank you so much. And as I said by Dr. Abdul Kalam, the future of this country lies with the last benchers. So credit goes to you. Please. Next slide. I think you can skip this slide. Yeah. So I'll try to be very crisp due to time duration, because some time we have to keep for at least question answering for this session. So I think most of the data has been already covered, like fastest growing economy, 8 to 10%. I will not get into statisticals. I'll directly come to the exactly what is the crux of this, basically this. Maybe I'll skip this also. Why manufacturing is important for nation's prosperity? It creates a sustainable employment, as I mentioned by some panelists. Like it creates employment for the people once we start getting into the manufacturing in India. Innovation, new technology products and industries, as I mentioned, like we have started already 3D printing techniques. So only like for the world, GE was the only company who was getting into 3D printing, but we as a Bharat Forge, we already developed 3D printing techniques in India, and first time we are trying for the artillery programs. I have kept 2 videos so that you can say exactly what we are doing in terms of getting into the manufacturing, as rightly said by Dr. Sardeshmukh. So we will show you some 2 videos, like how we got into defense, how we got into Make in India program. In my brief introduction in this today's morning session, as I earlier said, like if we compare India to China or some of the developing nations called the Philippines, Bangladesh, maybe Indonesia, so where we stand today. So as I said, like we are still onto like 15% of the manufacturing, which is contributing to the GDP of the country. If you compare with the rest world, like Thailand, China, South Korea, but as I said, like we should not get into a trap of making the products of low cost for the world. What, according to me, is like from the factory-driven economies, we need to strive for the innovation drive economies. If you see like factory-driven, the per capita income which is less than $2,000 US, like Philippines, Bangladesh and India, these are the 3 countries. What about like efficiency driven economies like China and or rest countries? They are into like 34% of the GDP cross. So it is like efficiency driven economics. They are not into innovation driven economics. I'll get into the last innovation drive economics. Like Germany, Japan, USA, UK, they are working onto innovation-driven economies. So we should focus on the innovation rather than getting into low-cost products, low-cost automations. In terms of like innovation economics, as I said, like we need to have some kind of a targets. Unless and until there is no smart target, we will not achieve anything. It is like we are ending into two ways and we don't know where we are heading today. So let's say if we have a target like we need to cross in terms of the manufacturing, the GDP more than 30%, what we need to do is like we need to have a high R&D spend. Like we already invested 125 crores only on the artillery platform. That is remarkable. If we compare with the rest industry, unless and until they don't foresee orders, they will not invest. But we as a private sector, we already invested for this. Highly skilled manpower, as I said, like in our Kalyani group, whatever blue collar jobs are there, we are trying to transform them from blue collar to white collar. So some kind of a bits education system, IIT Bombay, like I've got my education from IIT Bombay, it is through Bharat Forge. Then some Deakin University for the PhD programs. So these are the initiatives that right now we are taking. Futuristic technology like 3D printing. First time there will be 3D printing parts put on the artillery gun. Nobody has thought, but we have taken that initiative. Drive innovation productivity in other sectors. Like apart from Bharat Forge was known to be a automotive sector, but we are getting into non-automotive like railways, oil and gas and other sectors also. So somebody has mentioned that Silicon Valley. So it is like there is a high pool of talent is already available that was created in the Silicon Valley. So similar kind of experiment needs to be done in India. So I will not get into exactly like what they have done because it is already, I've got this from Google. How India's defense sector, since I'm representing the defense and as I got a mail from Dr. Ganeshan that try to exchange your thoughts so that there won't be any repetition of the process during the conversation. But I knew that since I'm coming from defense, whatever topics that I'll be covering, it will be slightly different from the rest panelists. So like once I get into defense, right now like 70% we are importing parts from the outside world. So why not to shift the between like 70% import to 70% export? That should be our target. So that is why we are working right now. How do we do in case of defense? So right now, like we as a private sector, we are trying to get in connected with some private sector, public sector units, some of the DRDO organization. Like we have a type with DRDO for development of a towed gun officer. We won the contract and we are working with DRDO. We are also in touch with some public sector units because in India, once you get into defense, it is very difficult because there is a huge lobby which is sitting in a public sector unit. So how we get connected with the public sector, how we can see that there is a marriage between private sector and public sector units so that we can get rid of the hurdles that we are there right now. So already we are trying to create an ecosystem to encourage both public and private sector and to invest in the future thrust. So these are the area that we are targeting right now. How do we do this in terms of defense industrial strategy? Like optimal utilization of the industrial capabilities. Like we has been known that we know exactly like how do we manufacture and how do we design and that sort of a thing. So we are getting that capability to explore to the DRDO, to explore to the public sector unit. Then credibility. Unless and until you don't create a credibility, people will not believe you. Because since defense is a very, very different sector. Like once you get the product rolled out, there are safety aspects, there are ruggedization aspects. So we have to have a credibility in that case. Building a trust. Like once we are getting into artillery, there has to be trust with the public sector and DRDO that it is not like we want to chase this race, we want to work with those sectors. Like just our story. So we are getting from muscle power to brain power, creating a knowledge workforce, modernization technology that's already been incorporated in Kalyani group, partner of choice. Like We are very strategically choosing our partner. Like we have tie-up with Elbit from Israel because they have a good background in terms of the artillery. Some of the missile programs we are tied with Rafale. So we are very, very peculiar in terms of choosing our partner very rightly. This is my, I told you, like these are the institutional where we are working as far as the knowledge goes. I'll just skip this. So these are the products right now we have already rolled. Bharat 52, this is 155-52 caliber howitzer. It is like, if you might have heard the Bofors. It is more onto the controversy, but this gun has helped during the Kargil war. It is 39 caliber, we have made 52 caliber, a longer range, a longer capability. Then 105 platform, then 45 caliber, and again a Russian conversion. These are the futuristic development that we are targeting along with DRDO, like attacks, advanced road artillery gun system, ultralight howitzer. You have heard M777. We are also making our own indigenously ultralight howitzer. So my whole team is working on that program, mounted gun system. So just to give an example, this is a very unique example. You can see this gun we have made in 2014. We have approached Minister of Defense, why not to try it in India? But because of the rules, regulation, policies, there were a lot of hurdles. So what we tried, we shipped this gun to US, and within 1 month we have fired this gun successfully. Can you go back and just play the video, please? Yeah. So this is right now what strategy we are making into defense. Is like, if there are some issue with the Indian policy, so why not to get in touch some of the ranges like US and Israelis have. So this is the actual firing. This gun was developed by our team. Now because of this, the government has had to change the policy. Now they have opened the firing ranges for the private sector. First time in India this has been done. You can go for the next slide, please. This is same video, like there is a video. It's okay. This is also one more platform that we have fired. The point right now I'm putting a thrust onto this. This is a new challenge that we as a Kalyani group has taken. Even though there are hurdles in the policies, we are trying to perceive with the government that if something can be happened in India in terms of like getting the products rolled out with good quality of engineering, the good sustainability, the good regulation, even the government will change and they will take some good decision. Next slide. So like summary,